Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Ultra Squad, and today we're here with part 3 of What If Issei Had the Chaos Emerald. Now, I'm not going to waste any of you guys' time. Let's just roll the intro. The room was actually quiet. Nobody said a word, as Issei was the first one to break the ice. He asked why the exorcist was here in his hometown, as Irina explained why they were here. They were here to collect the holy sword that was actually stolen from the church. Now, this would interest Issei, as actually Zenobia told Issei why was there a devil in this actually his parents' house. Are they devils and lovers? And with this, Ingval didn't say a word, but Issei told actually Zenobia to watch herself, that pretty much actually Ingval lived with him since actually she was actually kind of like a kid, kind of like 11 years old, so she, not really 11, I think, was it 11 or 12, I can't remember, but still. Irina was quite surprised hearing this, that pretty much Issei is living with a devil, but heck, she would be sad, a little bit sad, but still, she would brush it off. And with this, Issei would actually, or not Issei, Irina would just tell Issei how they pretty much will be going tomorrow to see Reyes and pretty much Sona of the head of this hometown. But Issei actually kind of said that pretty much Reyes and Sona are not the head of his hometown. That pretty much is actually him. He runs this town and he protects this town. And that was actually surprised them. And with this, they were explaining to them how they should tell Issei, and they told Issei how Reyes and the devil should not get themselves involved, of course. But Issei said like, okay, fine. So with this, actually a week and a half will actually fly past, as Kiba has actually went rogue, as Reyes actually asked Issei for actually help to find Kiba. But Issei actually kind of refused, like he was not actually kind of feeling it, of course. But that was not really the most big problem that Issei was actually facing. The big problem was actually the white dragon had entered his hometown. Issei doesn't know if the white dragon is actually after him or someone else. So he's just gonna have to wait and see. Now, once Issei and Ingvar was actually at home chilling, the door was actually be bust open to see actually Zenobia, but Irina was on her back bleeding. Issei wasted no time, grabbed Irina and started to heal her. Once Irina was fully awake, she asked what happened, as Zenobia explained how Coco Bill had pretty much taken all the holy swords, how he's pretty much about to destroy this actually town in 30 minutes, of course, to start the Great Holy War. Now, they were surprised, the three of them, of course, and Issei told Zenobia that he would actually handle this. But Irina asked that she wants, she would say like she wants to come along too, that they need to collect the swords that they can bring it back to the church. So with this, Issei would actually kind of accept, but he told Irina to not push herself. He may heal her, but she's not back to full strength. So Issei would teleport to the school, as with this, he would just actually see the barrier, as he would just walk into it, not asking Sona for permission. Issei can basically like do whatever he wants. He can manipulate law itself, of course. So once Issei got into the barrier with actually the rest of them, Kokobel would notice Issei. He would say like, huh, so a few people came to challenge me, I see. They would look, well, Reyes Parat would look behind them to see it was actually Issei and the exorcist, of course. Now Issei would say like, are you Kokobel? Kokobel would say like, yes, I am Kokobel. And Issei would say like, great. Now can I finally end that pitiful life of yours. Issei would immediately power up into a golden energy. As with this, Issei would transform into his actually super form, that they would shake the whole supernatural world, of course. Every faction people felt that kind of power. Now with this, Issei would appear right in front of Kokobel. Before actually Kokobel would throw a light spear at Issei would throw it away with 2 fingers before he would gut punch Kokobel, making him go flying back, making a giant crater in the ground. Now on the ground, Ingvar would basically face off against the 3-headed Cerberus, and with this, they would start to charge towards her. Can't pronounce her actually name, jeez. Ingvar will appear behind actually the 3-headed dogs, and with this, the heads would just fall down to the ground. Ingval had just killed them with his fast speed, and this would surprise Reyes and everybody else that how powerful she really was to defeat them just in 1 second. Now we go on to the fight where Issei versus Kokobel. Kokobel will get up, he will start laughing how pretty much powerful Issei really is. And for Issei to join him, how pretty much with his power that he can give Issei, he can rule this world together. They can cause a great war, they can get whatever they want before he will charge towards Issei. And with this, a huge explosion will be actually be seen and heard. And once the dust cloud will actually settled, you just see Issei holding Kokobel by the neck, and Issei would say to Kokobel, "Does it look like I need your power?" before he would throw him towards the ground. With this, Issei would actually step on Kokobel's head on the ground, with Freeze try to actually overtake Issei, but Issei will backslap Freeze, making him go unconscious of course, and with this he will actually drop the sword, and as Issei will throw the sword, actually kind of defusing them with his chaos powers, and throwing it towards actually Zenobia and actually Irina. Now, once Issei was preparing to kill Kokobel, the barrier would break to reveal the White Dragon Emperor. The White Dragon Emperor would actually ask for actually Kokobel, that Azazel asked for me to collect Kokobel. Issei would throw Kokobel to the White Dragon before the White Dragon will fly away. Now we basically time skip to actually the peace treaty arc. This is where things get really strange, of course. Now, once Issei is there, the peace treaty arc, when they're making peace, time would actually stop, as everybody was unable to move aside from the faction, well, the same people original from the canon, of course. Now, Issei would see that Gasper has stopped time, so Issei would say like chaos control before he would snap his fingers and time would go back to normal. Everybody would be so surprised that Issei was able to make time go back to normal just like that. As with this, the White Dragon would actually, well, I'm going to say this, Verlaine would actually go and actually face off against the Mage, while Reyes would actually go after Gasper. Now, Issei would actually wanted to help, of course, as once he was about to actually assist with actually the whole Chaos Brigade, Katrin would make herself known. Now, Ingvald would be shocked to see actually her actually finally remember here, and she remembers actually Katrin, and how kind she really was, how pretty much of a big sister she really actually is to her, how pretty much she was actually there with her, how everybody despised her being actually of a half actually devil, half actually human. Yeah, she was surprised to see her, and surprising that she was leading this Chaos Brigade. So she would just say to Issei to not get involved. So with this, she will appear right in front of actually Katrin, and Katrin will be surprised to see Ingvald there. She would say like, "Ingvald, what are you doing here? How are you alive?" With this, Ingvald would say like it's a long story, but she would tell Katrin to stop this attack, that this is actually not her, that she doesn't need to do this. Katrin would say that pretty much that how Seraphon doesn't deserve to be actually Leviathan, how it should have been us, that we actually are the descendants of Leviathan itself. She would tell actually Ingvald to join her, that she doesn't want to fight her. But Ingvald would say that she doesn't want to fight Callus, that she's actually of her older sister. And with this, she would just say one word, "I'm sorry," before she will knock her out. She will appear right behind her and knock her out before she can even cause any damage. Now, the whole actually Chaos Brigade will actually fall out, and pretty much Issei would actually kill the rest of the mages there. As once they were all defeated, now it was actually just Issei versus actually just Verlaine. Now, Verlaine would actually congratulate Issei and actually praise him how powerful he really was. And she would just say how powerful the this Red Dragon Emperor actually generation really is. Everybody would be surprised and they would say like, "Wait, he's the Red Dragon Emperor?" And Issei would just chuckle. "Well, it seems like you notice who I really am, actually, White Dragon. So, I assume that you want to have a battle right now." With this, she would nod before powering up to a balance breaker, and Issei would say like how weak she really is, that she is not capable of making him go into his balance breaker, or even him boosting himself, because if Issei actually did boost his power, it would have been game over. Issei is just still in his base form, of course. So with this, Verlaine actually kind of got offended, like she took that to heart, like she was a little bit mad, so she just went out and attacked Issei, but Issei would dodge her attack before Issei would actually deliver a roundhouse kick, kicking her towards the of course, like the ORC club room, destroying the building, of course. Now with this, Issei will launch actually chaos spears towards actually Verlaine before she actually divides them, and Issei's strength. Issei was surprised that actually Verlaine is able to divide actually that much of his strength, but it didn't really matter. Issei has infinite amount of power, so Issei started to use more power, and Verlaine was surprised how Issei had this much power. So with this, Issei would actually power up into his actually balance breaker, and with this he would tell Verlaine how grateful she should be. With this, Issei would appear right in front of Verlaine, decking her one punch. That all what it actually took to make Verlaine like spit out blood before she actually was knocked unconscious. She was on the ground and she was actually utterly defeated, of course. With this, Issei would land right in front of her before she would actually wake up. Issei would de-transform and he would just say how pretty much powerful she really is, but she is not powerful enough to even be on his level. Verlaine would actually notice this, that she is not strong to defeat Issei. So with this, she would actually admit defeat. Psych! Not! She would immediately go to her Juggernaut drive, and with this, they would catch Issei off guard before she would actually scratch or kind of like damage Issei by kind of like launching like an attack towards his face, severely damaging his face. But Issei started to regenerate. Yes, Issei knows how to regenerate, of course, and Issei was actually quite surprised. So, I see how it is, huh? With this, Issei would actually power up into his actually super form, and with this, he would charge towards actually Verlaine, and there was no competition. Issei was too strong, and he was too fast. Anything what Verlaine actually tries to attack, Issei would use his telekinesis, and he would grab Verlaine, of course, slam her towards the school, destroying the school, and he would pick up actually the school, slam the school on top of Verlaine over and over and over again. Now, Verlaine was surprised by Issei's power this time. Like, she was completely taken aback. Issei knows telekinesis. He was super strong. He was so fast. No matter what she did, she couldn't actually damage him. So with this, she would de-transform out of her actually Juggernaut drive. She was beaten. She was bloodied up. She was holding one arm, of course, while she was on her knees. She was basically kind of like admitting that she lost this time. There was no tricks, no nothing. Issei's won fair and square. Issei will basically like land in front of her before he will actually tell Verlaine how pretty much she has a lot to improve on before he will walk away, but his arm was grabbed by Verlaine, and with this, Issei's eyes were widened to see Verlaine kissing him. Now everybody would be surprised that Verlaine was kissing Issei, as they was like, wait, what? With this, Verlaine would say like, since I actually can't defeat you, I'll just make you my mate then. And Issei kinda remembers something. When a male dragon defeats a female dragon, that female dragon becomes that male's mate. So he would say like, oh shit, this is not gonna be good. So with this, we time skip all the way actually over a few days. Issei didn't feel like going to school. He was just actually at home, and he was holding his head in pain. He couldn't actually get a hold of this. Like, this week was actually crazy. First actually Kokobille, then actually the Chaos Brigade, and then actually like Catherine actually showed up, and Ingvild is trying to actually like persuade her to turn good, and now actually Verlaine is actually his mate. Oh my god, he can barely handle 2, let alone 3, heck 4 even, because Ray is trying to actually get with Issei. Jeez. As Issei is actually in his dark, the door would actually be Issei's door. Issei would hear a knock on his door, as he would just go ahead and answer it, and he would see it was actually kind of like Azazel. Issei would let Azazel in, and he would ask what's Azazel doing here and what does he want. Now, Azazel asked Issei if he can actually ask if the girls can actually live with him. Issei said like, hell, no way, no way. Issei's not letting that happen. Issei said like, no way, he's letting the girls of the Occult Research Club stay in his house. There's no way. this is gonna cause a big problems from him in the future. He knows the perks of having a harem. He knows actually the punishment and actually like the payment he needs of having having a harem. He's not gonna go through that. No way, no way, no way. This is not gonna happen. With this Zeta was saying, he was saying like, okay, fine. Can you at least let one girl stay with actually Issei? We're inside Issei's house. Issei would say like, fine, who is it? And with this he would say actually Akano. Issei would say like, wait, why Akano? With this, Zeta will explain everything to actually Issei. How pretty much actually of how Akano lost actually her mother, against actually her family, her family killed her mother. Pretty much Kokobel is actually, and not really Kokobel, Bakio is actually her father, how Akano actually hated her father and things like that, so things like that. And she wants actually, and with this Azazel wants Issei to actually kind of like, let her be open, like kind of like help her actually accept who she really is. With this, Issei would kind of sigh. He said, like, I don't even know, of course. He's already dealing with a lot of problems. But, heck, Azazel begged Issei, and Issei said, like, okay, fine, only does her. So with this, Akano started living with Issei now. And with this, it's kind of was a big problem, of course. Akano was more sneaky than Rias. She was actually started to trying to actually seduce Issei, like kind of like going like she was already in Issei's bed. She was already trying to actually give him kisses and things like that. It was actually just so weird for actually Issei and so hectic. It was actually just crazy. It would make his head actually spin in circles, of course. But at the same time, the house was actually a little bit lively. But Ingvald was actually a little bit actually unhappy. But still, she was actually kind of happy that Akano was here, since they had a lot in actually kind of common. But guys, I'm going to be ending the what if actually here. If you guys want part 4 of this, let's get this video up to about 30 likes. And with this, I'm logging out. I'm Ultra Anime. Peace!